It's a little bit weird to hear all day and everything. I did want to talk about what's going to happen next week. As I understand, the Sutter Health facility is going to come back to the county in October. It's pretty quick when that's going to happen. And the calendar next week is pretty full. I just wanted to give you a heads up as I have been speaking with some of the people in the Homeless Action Coalition and so on about what's going to happen with that property. It seems like it's about 100 acres, and if that's converted to private uses, which I think is what the intent is to sell it, then there would be a requirement to maintain some of that asset in the public domain. And so I wanted to just bring that to your attention, that would be a requirement, and so we'll be looking to achieve that for affordable housing probably, but there may be some other uses, but on that conversion there would be a requirement. And fascinating all this today, how such a small thing, you think about equestrian, but it was really turned out to be really huge as far as the county economics is concerned. And as I wanted to just emphasize is that they need your support, and the roads need your support, and the homeless need your support. Well, how come, everybody thinks that we don't? Everyone goes along with not needing support. They say they don't need anyone's support, but the reality is that they need your support. Otherwise, things don't happen. Otherwise, Smart Train gets delayed 10 years. It really took 20 years. It took 20 years. But it finally got full board support, and it finally moved forward. And that was the key. Can't do it without your support. Can't do the housing without your support. Can't do the forest without your support. Can't do the roads without your support. So we do appreciate all of your support. Thank you. Thank you.
Anne Maurice.
They might call you first for I'll take that when you go up there. I'll take that when you go up there.
Anne Maurice, Ad Hoc Committee for Clean Water. Well, we can't do houses, we can't do roads, we can't do horses, we can't do increased tourism without water. And water is a big issue right now, and water is of tremendous importance, that's obvious. Well, the reason I'm here to speak to you is because there's a draft groundwater management plan which is proposed for adoption this week, and I say that it's seriously flawed and shouldn't be adopted. There's a lot of reasons, but one big reason that I've come to speak to you about is that in the 2 years that this plan was developed, there's no mention of anadromous fish. And I know you all know what anadromous fish are because you're involved in salmon and steelhead restoration projects. And the county has spent a lot of money to accomplish some kind of restoration. So how in the world could this plan for groundwater management be developed with no mention of the fishery? Well, you may be thinking right now, groundwater, that has to do with wells in the aquifer. That's 50 feet deep, 400 feet deep. Why, Anne, are you talking about fish? When the fish don't live down in wells, they don't live that deep. There's surface water. Fish are in surface water where this is a groundwater management plan. Well, that way of thinking is fundamentally flawed. If you're thinking that way, you shouldn't be. The USGS has talked about it, so if I don't convince you in what I'm about to say, please read a USGS publication titled Groundwater, Surface Water, a Single Resource. The Sonoma County Water Agency has it, but for some reason the panel didn't pick up on this, doesn't really understand it, or something. Otherwise they would not have omitted a concern about the fishery. What am I trying to say? All of a sudden it occurred to me, this is such a common managerial error that maybe this is a problem right here in Sonoma County. Are you thinking that the groundwater that we are sucking out of the ground, the pumping that we're doing for all of our various needs to sustain Sonoma County economically, is drying up the creeks. Have we thought that way? Or do you look at the creeks and decide it's the drought? That's the problem. Okay, well, when the rain hits the ground, some of it flows across the surface, but some of it also percolates down into what we call the aquifer and becomes groundwater. Well, that groundwater moves slowly through the ground and eventually may hit the bank of the stream. What happens when it hits the bank of a stream? Does it say, oh, I'm groundwater, I've got to go down, stay in the ground? No, it follows the path of least resistance, pops out of the bank, flows into the stream and becomes surface water. So groundwater is surface water is groundwater, and our pumping for lawns, pumping to water animals, pumping for tourists, pumping for hotel use, pumping for our own use, pumping for lawns, did I say that already? Pumping to water our petunias, our cabbages, our tomatoes, all of this is drying up the streams. So if we take seriously salmon as a resource, for example, we've got to bear this in mind, that groundwater and surface water are inextricably linked, so that as you drive around Sonoma County and you look at the creeks, you'll realize that our groundwater pumping has a lot to do with drying it up. So I hope you take that into consideration from a management point of view. Thanks.
Marion Stubert.
Oops, you read it.
Marion.
Good day. My representative to Congress stopped an invalid Commander-in-Chief, Honorable Mike Thompson. Anyways, dear Mike, did you call President Barack Obama Bakra into the actual service of the United States to deceptively bomb a pipeline in Iraq for United States profiteers in big oil? No. Did our representative Jared Huffman call President Barack Obama Bakra Obamacare into the actual service of the United States to deceptively bomb a pipeline in Iraq for United States profiteers into the oil? No. Did the most powerful woman in Congress, Nurse of Death Nancy, call President Barack Obamacare into the actual service of the United States to deceptively bomb a pipeline in Iraq for United States profiteers in big oil? No. Did any member of the 113th Congress call President Barack Obamacare into the actual service of the United States to deceptively bomb a pipeline in Iraq for United States profiteers in big oil, as every member is bound by oath and contract? No. Former constitutional law instructor turned self-appointed Commander-in-Chief Barack Obamacare is deceptively bombing a pipeline in Iraq for United States profiteers in big oil, as he, California's phantom Governor Willie Brown, determines to be necessary under Section 3A of Martial Law 107-243, which you, Nurse Nancy, and 154 other patriots voted against in 2002. Please urge House Minority Leader Nancy Pelosi to call you, Jared, and the 426 other patriots in the 113th Congress to attend a special session of Congress to annul democracy, ending Public Law 107-243, based on the attached Marla's, May's, Jemiah's, Charlotte's, and Andy's resolution to annul democracy, ending martial law 107-243. Naturally, John Jekyll, 9/11 Bounty Hunter, and Rich Hannon of 9/11 Truth Campaign. Dishonorable John Boehner, the United States House of Representatives, H-232, at the capital of 88,604. God fearing. Thank you.
Rich Hannon. Good morning.
Subject, you and Obama must clean up your acts or face treason charges. Treason Speaker Bono. Your statement that the President's authorization of airstrikes against Iraq is appropriate is constitutionally defective, treasonous, disgusting. Number 2. On October 16, 2002,